And Minister, you're very welcome to the House, and I do appreciate that you are bringing a level of realism to the debate that wasn't here this time last year. 1 year ago, Minister, I did not vote for water charges. For one reason, I got no answers to the questions I asked. And we're back here a year later for that very reason, because that side of the House at the time assumed it had all the wisdom, and there was no wisdom on this side of the House, and well, we can see how flawed that was. You know, I do think that the last few weeks and the furore over water since the 1st of October, it has brought a level of realism and a level of need to look at the legislation again. And I would say this: we've begun to listen a bit more on the government side, but we're still doing the wrong thing just a little bit righter. That's what we're doing, because fundamentally the concept of Irish water has been poorly constructed. If I'm to just, I suppose, mention what Senator Barrett said, we have 4,000 odd persons doing the work of 2,300 people, and according to the former Professor John Fitzgerald of the SRI, the work of 1,700 people. This is the burden. This is the culture that's been propagated by Irish water. Everybody wants water, but everybody does not want Irish water, Minister. The corporate image, the culture of bonuses, and again, while you've taken some of that off the table, including the PPSs, you are doing a little bit righter. But we have to get it completely right. I do see merit in looking at the local authorities taking on this job, fixing the leaks. I mean, if you look at what the deals that were made previously, Minister, the deals that were offered to the government, Siemens offered to put in the meters at a cost of €810 million, but none of that was to be paid up front. They offered to put them in for free and recoup the cost over time. But that was taken off the table by, I presume, Minister Hogan, and the deal was given to SiteServe, Dennis O'Brien, at a cost of, is it €539 million, for obsolete meters. For meters that are going to rely on a lad going around in a van reading the meters. When in fact, if we went for smart metering, people would have been able to monitor their usage from inside their homes. And that would have been a step in the right direction towards water conservation. You've said yourself, Minister, in your speech that metering, and I quote you, is the key to fairness. Metering is the key to fairness, according to the OECD. We have now 533,000 metres installed in 16 months. Given 1.6 million homes in the country, we're 1/3 of the way. So what I'm going to say to you, Minister, is no charging should commence, and water has a price. We do need water, and there is a cost to producing water, but no charging should commence until all homes have meters installed. And after that, there should be at least 2 terms when readings are given to each household in the country to show them their usage. The first reading will show them if they are above the average usage for their family size and if they have leaks. The second reading should be able to show them if they've corrected that. And after that, I think it's fair to begin a process of charging for water. Water conservation, Minister. You're offering a grant of €100, but that's not a water conservation grant. That's an inducement to sign up. Nothing else. It's a sop to the Irish people. And at a fairly considerable cost, €130 million from the Exchequer. I can tell you the A&E in Galway University Hospital could use that money right now. Such as the overcrowding of old people, 80 years plus, and trolleys. If this was genuinely a water conservation grant, Minister, I would appreciate the answer to the question. Where are the metrics that you will use to verify that people are conserving water? And due the grant for doing this? None I've heard of. This is the type of hypocrisy that really annoys people. Giving €100 and calling it a water conservation grant when you can't prove that people are conserving water. Water is a precious resource, and it's fundamental to life, and it must never be subject to manipulation. If it ever goes into the hands of a private company or private ownership, it would be subject to manipulation. I hear every day that nobody in this House wants water to be privatised. But our job is to put legislation on the books that will stand into the future, for all future governments to come. Therefore, it must be kept in public ownership, and the plebiscite will not deliver this, Minister, that you have referred to in Section 2 of the bill. It will not ensure that water is kept in public ownership because it's dependent on a resolution of the Houses. Do you mean, Minister, there, a majority of both Houses? Is that what you mean by a resolution? That's not secure. Look at what the way the other House voted last night. Just because you have a resolution of both of these Houses, Minister, does not mean that we will keep water in public ownership. There is only one way to keep water in public ownership, and that is to enshrine it in the Constitution in perpetuity. And I'm finishing, Leader. I was certainly moved by the case that Senator Mary-Louise O'Donnell made a few weeks ago on this issue in this House. And finally, I suppose my final point is that I see the charge of 160 net as reasonable if I thought that that the government could support that figure was sustainable post-2019. And Minister, I haven't decided yet how I will vote. But if you can say to me, post-2019, Senator Healy-Eames, here are the figures to show that it is sustainable to Irish families, and we can invest in water infrastructure at the same time, then you have my vote. Thank you.
Senator Gilroy.
Thank you.